Hello, Internet. The Morgan You Know podcast network presents Balls and Brew.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the flagship sports podcast here on the Morgan You Know podcasting network. Thank you so much for choosing to spend some of your time with us. We talk about sports here on the show. We try to talk about it the way you do when you're hanging out with your buddies, having a couple of brews. And most of the sports we talk about involve balls, thus the name of the program. This program is produced by James Jim Riska. Jimmy will be along later with Chris when we talk about the NBA. Quick side note, we are recording this during Game 5 of the NBA Finals. We are recording this during Monday Night Raw, but there was something that happened yesterday that deserves to be talked about. So we're going to start right there with the 2024 U.S. Open. And if we're talking about golf, you know who I'm about to bring in. He's an old friend. He's been around here on the Morgan You Know podcasting network since day one. He gives us movie takes. He gives us music takes. But we most like it when he comes on here and gives us golf takes because that's a good expertise for him. And specifically this week, Mr. Roberts, I have it in my notes here that you played Pinehurst number 2 before, the very course that the U.S. Open was competed on over the weekend. Hello, by the
That is
way. I'm sorry, that
correct.
was a long intro. I don't know. That might have been one of my worst intros of you of all time. I'm sorry, but hello, by
It
the way.
wasn't great. It was not great, but hey, we'll roll with the punches. No, your notes are correct. I had an opportunity a few years back to play Pinehurst number 2 through a vendor event, and it's at the absolute top of my list of golf experiences I've ever had.
So have you been in the bunker on 18 that factored so big into the unfoldings here?
I did not. I actually hit a marvelous drive down the middle of the fairway and hit a good approach shot up to like 15 feet. And I'm proud to say I made the birdie on 18 in front of the crowd behind and tipped my hat and walked away.
Nice. All right, let me ask you one more relating to this weekend's play. How many times were you hitting out of the what were they calling it? What's that grass there off to the left at More
They
Than Rough?
they call it wiregrass.
There we go.
It basically is like a broadleaf, long, skinny grass that grows in bunches. I was very lucky. Several of my shots found the vegetation area. I only had one or two that was up against the wiregrass, but I did have one against there. And watching those guys hit the shots they hit out of that stuff made me realize, as good as I am nothing. Like, it was impressive.
I mean, DeChambeau was essentially like, I mean, he looked like a everyday hacker out there. Basically, every time off the tee box, he's just playing out of some sort of weird fescue or whatever, and it just didn't seem to phase him at all.
I mean, he's arguably the strongest guy on tour, and that's what you have to do hitting out of those. You have to be strong, you have to be fast through the ball. If your ball is in between the wiregrass and your club and you can get a good clean strike on it, it's not, I don't want to say it's not penal, but you can deal with that a little bit. It's the stuff where that ball is in the wiregrass or the wiregrass is behind it. And if he had shots like that, and as strong as he is, he can just hit that wiregrass out of the way. I mean, Rory hit a shot I think on Friday or Saturday that was up against one, and then he pulls out this clump of wiregrass. It's 3 or 4 feet deep and 2 or 3 feet wide, and it looks like it was a trophy kill.
Well, he kind of tried to hit one on Sunday where he tried to blast a little bit through the wiregrass even, and it ended up coming up a little short, right? So, I mean, that shows right there, two different guys playing on Sunday, similar conditions. Bryson fought through and got it where he needed every time, and Rory had that one. But when we talk Rory, we got to talk about the putting. Mr. Roberts, I mean, what do you think happened? Because he was hitting some nails putts early in that round. I mean, is it just nerves? Do we have to just write it off to Rory's a choker at this point, or is there something else at play here?
I've been thinking about that since yesterday. I don't know what to attribute that to. I've heard a couple stats. I've seen a couple things on in social media and platforms where, what was it, this year he was 479 of putts 3 foot and in. Like, that's crazy. And then I think at the point he missed the one on 18, that was like 3 foot 11. He had made his last like 59 foot or last 59 putts inside of 5 feet. I mean, I think you're looking at a guy that's pressing. He hasn't won a major in 10 years. He's absolutely competed. He's been in the mix. He's finished runner up the US Open 2 years in a row. He's finished top five, I think, the last 6 or 7 US Opens in a row. I mean, he is so close, and I think you have to look at him looking over those putts, going, just make this and go, just make this and go. You've got it in the bag. And anybody that plays golf at a high level knows the moment you think about the next shot while you're standing at your own shot, it's not a good place to be in. And I almost think it was that if I had to put it on something. I think he walks up to a 2 foot 11 putt on 16 and goes, I'm just going to knock this in. I'll go to 17 and let's go. And next thing you know, and I'm not going to compare myself to Rory, but I had a very similar situation over the weekend. Playing in a match, I had a 2 foot, 3 foot putt that I hit, and as soon as I hit it, I walked to the hole to bend over, and it lips out. Like
Oh,
I'm already thinking of the next one. Like
yep.
I thought that putt was in. I'm sure Rory's rolling the rock well late Sunday, and he probably, I don't want to say got cocky, but I think he just thought like, oh, I got this. And the moment you take that concentration away from Pinehurst of all places, it's going to jump up and eat you. And I'm going to preface this by saying that I have ripped the USGA in the past for course setup, for course locations. Pinehurst was freaking perfect.
Oh, it was wonderful to
Perfect.
watch. It was wonderful to watch.
Perfection.
I love those greens too, right? Like that's a little extra added thing where you watch a shot come up and you're like, oh hey, this doesn't look too bad, and the next thing you know, right, it's rolling back, or it's
Yeah.
rolling off to the side, or it's going way off the green. So that was just that's an interesting thing because it really you start to realize what you come on and you do in our preview podcast so often, right? You talk about the guys that are good ball strikers, you talk about the guys that are good with their irons, right? And with something like the greens at play here in Pinehurst, you really see who are the guys who are hitting it exactly where they want to, and the guys who are kind of just like, I don't know if I can pinpoint it like that. I got to just get it up there somewhere near. And you can see the difference between the players that way. And I really like that. I love the Payne
Well,
Stewart of Pinehurst as well, right? We always get some good Payne Stewart remembrances every time Pinehurst comes up, and we all love Payne and we miss Payne dearly. So any chance we get for him to come back up, that is also good. What else should we take
did
away from
you
this tournament?
did you by any chance catch the Sunday intro with Payne Stewart's son Aaron?
I did not. I saw a thing on Sports Center with Linda Cohn, but I didn't see the thing that they did on the NBC leading up to the telecast.
I will preface this by saying that I have no children. I'm very lucky to have two wonderful father figures in my life, but I was getting ready to walk out the door to play golf, and that came on, and there was a dust storm that apparently blew through my apartment watching. I was like, what is going on over here? There's something it was a cool look at Payne's impact on the game in that 2-3 minute whatever they ran into. And if you haven't, I'm sure you can catch it on any sort of social or internet. I would highly recommend checking that out.
I apologize because I don't remember who sent this tweet out on X, but it was like kudos to whoever. I think it was Kevin Clark actually. Kudos to whoever decided to have the final round of the U.S. Open end on Father's Day. You know what I mean? Like whoever made that, like that's just a genius decision. Playing into fathers, sons, golf. Get out there. We've talked about this before. My dad no longer with us, but my strongest memories of with him are watching golf, playing golf. So Sundays always get me. I made the mistake of watching the clip at the end of Field of Dreams at one point in the afternoon while also watching the U.S. Open. So, I mean, it was really getting wispy for me over here in that same dust storm, Mr. Roberts. I understand what you're saying. Let's stick with pain of a different type here, the pain that Rory McIlroy feels here. All right. I have two questions. I'm going to frame them together this way. All right. I wondered if what was at play here with Rory is what can only happen to a guy who's well advanced into his career. He fully understands a little bit more that moment. He fully understands what can be on the other side for him when he wins that, cementing his legacy, proving to people he's back. He still has it. He knows all of those things. And I just wonder if, like you said, he started thinking about too many of those things. That made him nervous. He didn't think about what he needed to, and he moved on. But Greg Norman, Van de Velde, some of the great chokes in golf, including by Rory himself. I mean, is this one of the worst, or is he still behind Norman and Van de Velde?
It's so tough to talk about this way because you and I are Rory guys.
Sure.
You know, I want to see him win.
But we're
Um,
chroniclers of history as well, golf history. We try to be.
that's true. I read something today that kind of mirrors what you just said about him being in the moment and knowing what it is. And then immediately afterwards, it followed into this. Well, also, let's not forget, Phil didn't win his first major till he was 33, and then rolled off like four more after that. Rory's got four at 35, arguably playing some of his best golf. I think there's still some in the tank. I think that he's still as competitive as ever, and he's always going to be a threat for a while. Um, this choke hurts. I mean, if it's not his biggest, if not one of the top five biggest chokes in a major, but I also go back and look at, and I should have looked up the year for this. Let's say it was like 2015, 2016, when he's got a 3 or 4 shot lead at Augusta going to the second nine, and he hits a ball into Butler Cabin. Like, to me, that was a worse choke because he was just in control. It was harder to watch him miss two putts inside of 4 feet that if he makes, he wins the Open by a stroke. When he's two up, Bryson even said, oh no, I need to do something. Like, you're not looking at Rory to fault like that. Like, if he had hit a bad iron shot and put himself in a position where he couldn't get up and down, I would
Like,
understand
say,
it more.
continuously dumping it into the water.
Right. But you're looking at literally his two biggest mistakes he made all week were a 2 foot 11 inch putt
Yep.
and or I'm sorry, I think it was 2 foot 9 inch putt and a 3 foot 11 inch putt.
You know what else I
And
think might be at play here is like the Norman collapse, right? Norman started Sunday as the leader, right? Like, basically all he had to do was just figure out a way to get through that round as the winner, and he couldn't pull it off, right? Let's not forget, and we can go back to giving Bryson his flowers here after we finish up with Rory. He started the day as a 2-shot leader anyway, right? So Rory had some ground to make up, played steady, like we said, nails early on, burying putts. If you're to believe the old baseball adage that how things go in the first inning leadoff hitter, that's how the rest of the day is going to go for you. You think Rory's going to be hitting putts. It doesn't work out that way for him. Bryson plays solid golf and wins. I mean, it came down to
Bryson
that,
played
maybe more,
way
right?
more. Bryson played way more than solid golf,
Exactly.
and
I think that's what's going to
and
save Rory ultimately.
I hate to say this because we're falling into this trap right now the same way every mainstream media is going. Is Rory lost the Open? Bryson won the Open. He played outstanding. Obviously, I'm going to sound a little golf snobbish when I say this. I've played a lot in my life. His up and down on 18 out of the bunker is the absolute most ridiculous thing that anybody on this planet could do. A 55-yard bunker shot to those green complexes to less than 4 feet when you have to get up and down to force a playoff, or I'm sorry, get up and down to win. That might be like a top three major shot of all time. And I know they touched on the broadcast that this is crazy, but like, the average person that watches golf has no idea how complicated that is. That is a million times harder than probably getting a hole in one. That is a million times harder than making a 30 footer for birdie to win. Like, that was dumb. When he got in that bunker, I went, we're in a playoff. As soon as he punched out, I mean, when he's in trouble, I was like, oh, he could make bogey here. And then he hits into that bunker, and I'm like, boys, we're going to the first 2-hole aggregate U.S. Open playoff in history.
Totally
Because
thought
U.S.
we were seeing
Open,
that too.
which, can we go back to 18-hole
Yes.
Monday playoffs
Come
for the
on,
U.S.
Rocco
Open?
and Tiger. That's one of the best memories ever.
Here's what I say you do. You go 18 holes on Monday, and you do it match play. You kick it back to all the old school stuff, the original
Okay.
PGA Championship. You go
Bobby
18
Jones.
holes of match play.
Yeah, there we
That
go. I
would be
love it.
insane.
I love it. All right, let's spin
But
Bryson forward this way then. All right, so here we go. Bryson now, second U.S. Open, right? Think he's got another major under his pocket, doesn't he, right? Or is it still just the 2 U.S. Opens?
just the 2 U.S. Opens.
Okay. All right, but he's still way young, right? Checkered past, let's say, right? Let's try to be fair to him here. Checkered past, wasn't well liked by the media, portrayed as a bad boy. We instantly saw the narrative shifting on Bryson DeChambeau as we finished up on Sunday. So I ask you this, Mr. Roberts, were we right all along, or are we just now desperately trying to fall all over ourselves because Bryson won?
I think we were wrong. Um, I don't necessarily know if I like that bad boy label. I think Bryson came in with a very different take on golf.
Brash, I guess, is maybe better.
Brash, yeah, I like that. I'm smarter than you. I can do this better than you, and I'll figure it out. And it rubbed a lot of people, myself included. I didn't care for it. I thought, who are you to come around and do this? Uh, I have come around on him of with him being a little older, and he's even kind of come to terms with the maybe the way that I came off was a little brash. Maybe it wasn't correct. I still want to be me. I still want to inject some fun in this game. I want to inject some different thought.
I loved
I
every bit of that, by the way. Fist pumping, telling the crowd to cheer. The PGA needs some more of that.
When he looked over at the crowd and said, "Don't boo me," and grabs an iron instead of his driver, like he knows what they want. He's the only guy that's ever was I can't remember the hole at Bay Hill that he hit like a 400-yard drive on this par five and cut the water, and as soon as afterwards his arms are up in the air and the place is going nuts. Like I think that as
Oh, he's got Happy Gilmore in him, right? I mean, that's why a lot of people do like him. He's got Happy Gilmore in him at times, and we love that, right? People want to see the carnival. They want to see the sideshow. The first time he caught wind of me, speaking of carnival and sideshow, right, is when he became Beefy Bryson. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
This guy just put on like 45 pounds, and then I saw pictures of him after and before. I was like, it was like that episode of Always Sunny in Philadelphia where Mac just gained a bunch of weight out of nowhere one year.
It was a whole different take. You had people like Tiger that were physically fit, but Bryson just said, I can get bigger, I can get faster, I can get stronger, and I can overpower these golf courses. And he's not wrong. I mean, I think that's a fundamental problem with golf is you can overpower a course. You can be too long. I'm not going to get into a whole conversation of rolling the ball back and all that. Let's cut that right out from the get-go. But I think Bryson has mellowed a touch. I think some of his fan interactions have been incredible. I think the way that he talked to the media after the round was incredible. I thought it was a little corny when he was like, we're going to go around and I'm going to let everybody touch the trophy because y'all need to experience this. You didn't win the tournament. Don't touch the effing trophy.
Let's slow down.
Okay?
You're not a humanitarian, all right? You're not a humanitarian.
Right.
You just won a golf tournament.
But besides that, I mean, he has done a lot of things that have made me go, all right, I don't hate this. And I think the biggest thing that he's done to make me say I don't hate this is watch him just play lights out golf. We can talk about him hitting 400-yard drives, having 200 mile an hour of ball speed. He hit at least 5 or 6 shots that made me drop my jaw. Saturday, he had a 125-yard fairway bunker shot that he stuck to about 3 feet.
Ooh.
What?
I didn't see that one. That's incredible.
I mean, he hit it, and the guys were talking on tour or on the broadcast the whole time that the sand out there was really easy to get the ball out of, but you couldn't put a lot of spin on it. And he hits this ball that hits and goes about 6 feet and stops. And I don't think I saw any other ball the entire weekend at Pinehurst hit, go 6 feet and stop. Like the guy played tremendous, and I hope as the time gets on past, we can look back at how great he played and not pull on the Rory choked it, which you have to talk about
right.
because he choked it.
But here's the other thing that has to be said here, right? And we're not going to get into it now because it's a deep conversation that there's still not a great answer to. But Bryson is still technically a live tour member, right? So we're not going to necessarily see him on the next couple of TV broadcasts of PGA tournaments. You know what I mean? So it still could continue to be Scotty Scheffler's world. It's nice to see Bryson there. We got other guys that make contentions at majors. Tony Finau, my guy, shout out. I saw you getting the top 5. I love that. Mr. Roberts, you know what else I love? You coming back on the podcast and dropping some knowledge on us. Thank you, my friend.
Well, I have one last little bit of knowledge. There has been some information.
The closing nugget.
There has been some information on PGA Live. Oh, wait, no, I'm kidding. No, there hasn't. There's
Look at
no
you.
news.
You had me for a second. You had me. You sly dog you.
Well, I do what I can.
All right, Mr. Roberts, we will have you back on again here sometime soon. You are always willing to come back and share your knowledge. We appreciate that out of you. Thank you so much, my friend.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
We will be back here in just a minute. Me, Jimmy, and Chris will be talking about the NBA Finals. And I don't want to get ahead of myself, but it looks like we might be talking about the end of the NBA Finals. Maybe that's on the other side.
and that's Willie Mays passed away. Let's give a rest in peace to one of the greatest ball players to have ever graced the diamond that we've ever seen.
R.I.P.
I think also the most iconic catch that has been replayed billions of times. So yes, definitely RIP to the Say Hey Kid. Welcome to the Fast Break, the fastest 15 minutes in the NBA. Rod, the floor is yours.
I guess I just want to start with a question, Jim, because you got a lot of mileage over the year with your regular season.
Oh, destroyed pool. You.
Right.
Destroyed everybody.
I
was the Celtics of the regular season.
Okay, but I should have went back and found out, like, did we all say regular season wins pool or we just say wins pool? Because I really would be interested to see what 16 wins added to my team score ultimately does. And there probably should have been some sort of bonus associated with the man who drafted the team that ultimately won the Larry O'Brien trophy, which I did. So I guess what I'm trying to say, Jimmy, is you, sure, were great in the regular season, but I had the foresight and the vision to be able to draft the team that did the most winning in the playoffs, and I think I should get more credit for that.
Hey, Chris, stop me if you've heard this before. Rod is changing the rules on us and making it all about him. This is crazy.
It's not crazy when it happens all the time.
And by the way, Rod, you even had the Timberwolves. I still think I beat you, even if you do all that.
Oh, well, maybe you did, maybe you didn't. But I guess, again, bonus points, Jimmy. Bonus points. I got lots of them.
I still think I beat you. Celtics win in Celtics in 5. I know everyone on this podcast except Rod said Celtics in 5. I think that this is you've got to put an asterisk on this. Just joking. I think it's a great championship win. I think the Celtics deserve it. Jaylen Brown stepped up another level. I think he deserved to be MVP. I really do. Tatum had a couple of really good games. The final game was really good, but I think Brown's the MVP, right, Rod?
No, I'd voted for Jason Tatum.
You did.
I would have voted for Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum's the MVP of the Boston Celtics. He's the guy that sucks in the gravity, right? Like, if Jason Kidd truly thought that Jaylen Brown was the best player on the Celtics, like he tried to start up in the media, he would have funneled the defense towards Jaylen Brown. He did it. He funneled the defense towards Jason Tatum, and that's why Jaylen Brown had a chance to have a few other scoring opportunities and look better at times throughout the series. I think Jaylen played fantastic, but I would have voted for Jason Tatum.
Chris?
I think the Jaylen Brown that we've seen in these playoffs is not the same Jaylen Brown we are used to seeing in the past, because, and I hate to say it, but the defense that he's playing, and really this is why Boston's the best team right now, is their defense. And part of that has to do with Jaylen Brown and Tatum at the forefront, and then the additions that they were able to make the last couple of years, getting White and then getting Holiday. I mean, these guys, great defenders. I do think that you got to give the MVP to Brown, though, because this is a more improved and all-around better Jaylen Brown than we've ever seen. If he played like this the last 2 years, we'd probably have different results at the end of the postseason.
He was actually the best player in that Warriors series, though. If I might, actually, right? He's a guy that showed up to play in that Warriors series, but you're not wrong about his play in that Miami Heat series last year. So it's kind of like, I don't know if he's to blame for both years, but if he'd have played at this level both, you're definitely right.
For sure. So Celtics fans are rejoicing. This is number 18 now, Rod?
Yes, 18, banner number 18. And also, I'm going to start backing what Bill Simmons talks about all the time. 5 of the Lakers championships come from Minnesota. That's just ridiculous. Nobody in Oklahoma City Thunder counts the 79 Seattle Supersonics championship as one of theirs. But the Lakers, in order to keep up with the Celtics, have to win 5 banners that George Mikan won back in the days that nobody was even thinking about shooting a three-pointer or dunking. Come on, Lakers. You're better than that.
So you were around for all those championships. Go ahead.
Well, come football season, I don't want to hear Rod reminiscing about great Colts quarterbacks and bring up Johnny Unitas, because apparently they can't count towards the Colts franchise if the Lakers can't count the Minnesota years.
Listen, I believe I've waxed poetic about many a Colts quarterback, including one Don Majkowski, Jack Trudeau, Jim Harbaugh, Gardner Minshew. I can find beauty in any Colts quarterback, Chris. I don't have to go all the way back to the Baltimore days. Just because you have fond memories of paying a nickel for a bag of peanuts and sitting up there and watching those boys get after it doesn't mean I do too.
Got paid way better by Mayflower helping move those trucks. But anyways, one question I really had for Rod, and because I don't know, there seems to be a lot of different people that are getting praise from Boston fans, is like, who's to get all the reward for this? Is it the coach? Is it Tatum and Brown? Is it Brad Stevens? Like, who would you give the most credit to this championship?
That's a pretty good question. I honestly did find myself trying to think about that today in just a random time when I was washing the dishes there between cleaning off a plate and then moving on to the next cup that I was washing in the sink there. Do you like my vamping that I'm doing as I try to continue to think about who I want to give for this answer? I think it has to be Brad Stevens. All right. And I'll tell you why. Because I think Joe Mazzulla only gets hired because of Brad Stevens' vision for the way the Celtics need to play. And Brad Stevens got the vision for the way the Celtics needed to play through coaching a lot of the personnel that still remained on that team, right? So Stevens coming up as a coach, going through the scars with Brown and Tatum, seeing what happened on the floor, and then moving up into the box and being willing to make the tough call of getting rid of Robert Williams III, who everybody loved, but never could actually play, getting rid of Smart, who everybody said was the heart and soul, and bringing in guys that he said, you know what, this is what we actually need to win. And then those pieces came in, and the first year after you make those moves, they come in. So I think you got to slightly give it to Brad Stevens, but I could be being an Indiana homer here.
Yeah, Chris, I don't know. I think the players on the court you have to give a lot of credit to. I think that's pretty good. I think Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum continuing to work together, not having that big ego. Jaylen Brown finding himself after trying to play a little too much to live up to that contract at the beginning of the season. Having the foresight to bring in a Porzingis and help him acclimate very quickly. Same thing with Drew Holiday, who's got to be the best teammate ever. Not being it's selfless. They really have been the team from the beginning of the year till now is the best. And, you know, when people say, and I made a joke earlier, that it's an asterisk, they didn't have to play this team or that team. They played the teams in front of them. They won the championship, and winning championships, as I believe Brian Windhorst says, is very, very hard.
Yeah, we've had 6 different ones in the last 6 years. That's for sure. I also kind of think we got to give some credit to all the writers and NBA voters who have dismissed Jaylen Brown as an all NBA type player and has given him fuel to be better and get the Celtics over this little hump they've had over the last couple of years.
Also, I want to point out, who knows how well the Celtics play in a couple of second halves if Peyton Pritchard doesn't hit a half-court bomb right there as halftime's getting ready to start. You know what I mean? Just who's to say what kind of momentum that was able to propel the Celtics into of second halves of some of those games. So shout out to my guy, number 11, wearing the same number as Kyrie Irving, interestingly enough, who did not play well in 3 games in Boston.
By the way, literally the only play he was in for, right? I mean,
hey, listen, he knows what he's for. He knows his worth. He knows what he can do. Jimmy, if you could hit a half-court shot like that, wouldn't you say, hey, put me in for it?
Oh, heck yeah. I'd love to. That'd be amazing.
Kind of like the baseball team. They said, listen, we need somebody to head down to the bullpen and catch the guys that are getting ready to come out.
Baby.
You know, I mean,
I'll say DPC 3 years in a row. Don't think I don't.
We won't know he's a true specialist until they start doing this at the end of a game, not just the end of the first half.
Well, hey, they do it either way. Kyrie, horrible series again. Didn't do not one of the best backcourts ever in the NBA Finals. I think we can say that. Very strange, extremely gracious at the end. You know, giving the high fives and the hugs with 3 minutes to go when they threw in the towel. Is Kyrie a changed man, Rod? I almost got it out without smiling.
I mean, I'd like to think that he's made some changes, but I think it's also probably pretty fair to say that those changes might be just as simple as I'm interested in being able to continue making good money as a basketball player and possibly decent money as an endorser. So I'm just going to try a little bit to stay on the straight and narrow and in everybody's good graces. I kind of I kind of feel that coming out of Kyrie a little bit. But I suppose the only reason I feel that is because basically Kyrie comes off as disingenuous almost no matter what he says. So that's probably why I feel that way.
Chris, you're a big Kyrie guy.
Listen, I cannot deny that he had an off series. I would say that everybody not named Luka had an off series, and even Luka had a couple bad nights. I mean, to diminish what Boston did and to not acknowledge what Dallas lacked and put all that on Kyrie isn't fair to anyone, I don't think. Yeah, he had a bad series, but so did almost every other player for the Mavericks. All right. Boston was a juggernaut that was healthy for the most part, and Dallas wasn't. But the off the court crap that Rod cares about with Kyrie, I really don't care at all. I haven't had that hatred for him. I am glad to see that he no longer believes in the flat earth theory. That's about as far as I'll go.
Okay, but let's wait a minute.
The painting behind you, Chris, is a flat earth. So come on, dude.
Isn't it fair, though, to say that a guy like PJ Washington and a guy like Derek Jones Jr., who was signed for the minimum, and a guy like Derek Lively, who's 19 years old, might not be expected to step up in the NBA Finals quite the same way as a previous NBA champion and a guy who's played in the finals before, Chris?
I mean, Dallas needed those guys to step up to even get to the finals. If they're not going to keep stepping up, you know you have no chance of winning. It's just like with Boston. If it wasn't for White, Horford, Holiday, guys like that who kept them in there, Boston wouldn't have been up there. You need your guys that have stepped up in the playoffs to continue to step up. Don't give me that jive about how only the superstars have to step up. It's everyone. The finals are tough.
Are you like shucking and jiving? Isn't that from like Dukes of Hazzard or something like that?
He said jazz earlier too. He's really pulling out all the old manisms tonight.
So NBA season is over. The NBA draft is coming up. I believe it's next week already.
26th and 27th, I believe, or 27th, 28th, one of those two.
Not too many people I could name in the draft right now. I haven't done my research on that, but we do have some free agents coming up. I want to go real quick before we get out of here. I want to ask you, of these free agents, are they staying on the same team or are they going somewhere else? Number one, Chris King, LeBron James, a Laker or somewhere else?
I think it's a Laker.
Okay. Rod.
Man, I'm going 80% Laker, which I think is crazy because a little while ago I would have said 100%, but I think there's 20% chance that LeBron's toying around, making some phone calls, doing some feelers, seeing how things might possibly work out. So I think there's a 20% chance, but I'm still going Lakers.
I'm going Lakers too, but I wouldn't rule out. Let's go back home. Let's go home again. Let's go to Cleveland again.
See,
Why not?
Philly. I think it's Philly or Dallas. I smell Philly.
I would say it's probably Dallas. A big one that a lot of people aren't sure on. Paul George. Is he going to stay a Clipper? He's wanted to play in LA his whole life. He finally got the opportunity to. Is he going to go somewhere else, Chris?
He's going to Philadelphia. That's who's going to be your Sixer.
Okay. Rod.
Orlando. He's going to go to Orlando and play for a bunch of money and have zero pressure because Paul George digs that, baby.
I think I'm going to keep him in LA. I think I'm going to keep him in LA. I don't know why. I just have a feeling. Speaking of LA, James Harden. Chris King. Is he staying? Or is he going?
I think he stays. He's got it easy there.
Okay. Because he's got Kawhi, and right now he has Paul George as well, so he can kind of hide a little bit. I think he's going to stay in Philadelphia too. Rod, where's James Harden going to go?
He stays in LA because they're going to foolishly pay him the money because they won't really be able to bring anybody else in. And then when Paul George leaves, they're going to really be scrambling. So he stays there.
Klay Thompson. I'm thinking he's going to be the Philadelphia. I think he's going to Philly. Rod.
OKC.
Ooh, okay. I like that. Chris.
I'm going to say he ends up in Atlanta.
Whoa, Atlanta?
Wow, okay. So
he's clearly just going for money because Atlanta's going to blow it up, I think, and absolutely stink. Or do you think Atlanta's going to try to patch it together one more year?
I think Atlanta makes a lot of bad decisions, and I think this will be one of them.
I don't think Atlanta's made a good decision since the Horford days, really, and even
Let's
then
not forget they traded the pick that was Luka Doncic. So shout out to you, Hawks.
There's a lot of teams that are regretting that, including the Kings and the Suns, by the way. DeMar DeRozan, Chicago's own DeMar DeRozan. Bulls are idiots, okay? They want to be that 9-10 seed. They're going to keep. I like DeMar DeRozan a lot. Fine, he can't be your number one player, but he's going to be the Bulls' number one player. He's going to stay in Chicago, Rod.
Philadelphia, enjoy your booby prize of DeMar DeRozan. That's where I think the Sixers are going to end up with.
Okay. Chris.
I think you're going to see him go west and play with somebody who realizes they need a little bit more of a threat on offense and defense. Yeah, he'll take a little bit less money because he's going to be ring chasing, and I think you'll see him in Denver.
Oh, see, I was jealous of that. I knew that's where you were going once you said it. I'm jealous of that. That's a good call, actually, because he could easily fill the KCP role.
All right, I got two more for you. OG Anunoby stays in New York. Probably already got done. Rod.
Absolutely, 100% book it.
Yeah,
yep. Chris. Okay.
He doesn't come out and almost risk whatever he was risking by that horrible 3-4 minutes he tried playing in that game if he doesn't know he's got a contract with the Knicks.
Right.
And a favorite one of mine, because it's one of those players who signed for, I believe it was the minimum, had a pretty decent couple of games, especially the last game he played in. Derek Jones Jr. from Dallas. They're thinking he's going to get 2 years, $44 million maybe. Chris King, who's he go to?
I think you see him someplace like, Memphis.
Okay, so just kind of a random, maybe a team wanting to get somebody in there to shoot. Okay, Rod.
A team that's like missed on a couple other people, and then they'll be like, okay, we need to get somebody, and that he'll be the hottest name left.
Okay.
I want to apologize to our Memphis brothers and sisters for Jimmy just saying somebody random. Let's not forget, Memphis was ravaged by injuries this year and suspension.
Oh, no question.
That team was a stone cold solid team a few years ago with a lot of young pieces. A guy like that coming into Memphis, that's another strong answer from our guy Chris there. So okay. I'm going to agree. I'm going to go ahead and agree and say Memphis as well. But I'm not sure that they have quite the money. So I also worry about Derek Jones saying to himself, you know what? Let me go ahead and get a 4-year contract to go play with the Blazers. Right? I'll figure it out after that. Let me take the Blazers money.
No, I got you one better. This is a classic Detroit move. Detroit's going to go with Derek Jones Jr. Definitely going to be Detroit. He may not be tall enough.
We can't get young guys anymore. They will say something like that because they already got like 8-9 young guys. So you might be right there, Jim.
So over the next couple of weeks, we're going to have a lot to talk about with the draft, the free agency, and I'm sure we'll have a lot to still talk about those Boston Celtics.
Listen, speaking of the draft, Jimmy, I got a little nugget here. I'm not Williams, all right? I'm not Williams, but you look at the odds for the draft right now. You get a couple of foreign guys, right? Neither one of them seems spectacular. I like Donovan Clingan to be a surprise number one because we know what he is, right? He's a 7-foot athletic big. You could still get him at a pretty decent number right now. Throw down a couple ducats. All of a sudden, Clingan's the number one pick, and you got a nice little payday there. Because I do not like Sarr, do not like Ricochet. So I don't know that you're going to see 6'1" Reed Shepherd out of Kentucky as number one. He's been getting a lot of talk recently. As much as I'm all for the white Americans, I don't think we're going to see him as a number one. But Clingan, height, it works.
And with that, you've been listening to the Fast Break on the Morgan Knows Podcasting Network. It's been a great show. Rod, Chris, thanks for coming.
Goodbye, Internet.